isn't this a debunking video?
I think so.
This is your bag. Hey, friends. I'm not sure what's Is there anything that I can not do, boss? Encourage you to listen to your body. That's what you need to do. Okay. Okay. Is there anything that would be okay. No, read this week. I'm just saying. Send the text. So, we're not putting anything on me that I can't hear. Okay, yeah, no. Like I said, grief is tricky and beautiful. And there are a lot of people here who are not secure. And as Prentice said this morning, we have to hold and let ourselves be held. Yeah. Yeah. I was just encouraging Rochelle to put down what there's here. Yeah, we can hear it. Yeah. How are you feeling? It's gonna be great. I can't wait to hear it.
We always, I mean, God has some things to share with us. I love women because it means that they just speak candidly and from the heart.
Yeah,
And that's what we need.
yeah.
I do understand what's going on.
No, it's not technology issues.
Do you want me to see if I can get some help?
Did you see
Did I see who?
I'm trying to like out there.
Oh,
But
Sabrina, but not Sabrina.
not Sabrina. Oh.
I know who you're talking
To
about.
go into a session, she's like, everyone needs to go.
Okay, so it's up there.
You responsible for our home.
There is growing outrage tonight
I think it's
Are you ready? No, you gotta be there at 2 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. And you have to get in the Uber, so you have to get yourself together.
I think, Rashad, you need someone.
Yeah, it's Andrew. Andrew in the back.
Okay.
I'm working
Andrew, can I have your help really
in
briefly?
front of a lot of people. I'm working. So I need you to get dressed. Bye. Oh, yeah. You need to get dressed.
I'm not
Okay,
hearing
well,
any
then you're not
sound.
gonna have a ride to work because when I begin my session, then I come out.
Okay.
killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of Ferguson, Missouri. At least 6 shots.
Every medical examiner I have ever direct or cross-examined.
There is growing outrage tonight after an
Yeah. Word on the street is that. Yeah, because every time they said, Andrew Rachel. Is what they would say.
All right, we're gonna go get started. Before we start anything, I'm noticing that we have some spaciousness in the room, and I want to ask us if we can all get a little bit more cozy, to come forward, to join us in the front up here, especially considering we're talking about grief. I think it'll feel nice for all of us to feel warm and intimate. Okay. Thank y'all for doing that. I appreciate it. My name is Dr. Rashad Armand Timmons. I am a fundraising director, a consultant on research and strategy, and just an overall support person for the Michael Brown Senior Chosen for Change organization. I feel deeply honored to be here at this Racial Equity Summit, and I'm feeling very thankful that you all have joined us for a conversation about grief. I think I want to invite us to do some grounding and breathing. I know that would be helpful for me. And so I want to ask folks to take a second to get comfortable in their chair. Let your feet find the ground. Maybe you're being attuned to your body, the surfaces that it's making contact with. And once we find that spot that feels good for us, I'll invite us to have some collective breaths together. Okay. I'm going to ask folks to inhale on a count of 4, and then we'll exhale to a count of 4. All right? And we'll do 4 in total. So let's start the first one. We'll inhale. And exhale. Let's do the second one. We'll inhale. And exhale. On to the third. Let's inhale. And exhale. Okay, I know we at the Racial Equity Summit, so y'all being real measured and tailored with the breaths. This last one, I want to make it kind of ugly. So on the exhale, just let it out, like release it, okay? So I should hear it in the room, I guess is what I'm saying. All right, y'all ready for that? Y'all got me on that? Okay. All right, let's inhale. And exhale. That was great. That was great. Okay. So now I hope we're feeling a little bit more grounded, a little bit more attuned to our bodies and its sensations. And now I'll take the opportunity to play an organizational video that summarizes and talks about the mission and the work of the Michael Brown Senior Chosen for Change organization. And then after that, I'll invite our esteemed panelists up to engage in our conversation. We're hoping that this can be dialogue, conversational, so we'll have some points that we'll be ready to share, but then we'll also turn it to you all to ask some questions, especially because it's not, in my experience, too often where we get to talk to impacted families in particular about myths about grief and then the journeys through grief, right? So We'll share some things and then have opportunities for questions. But right now I'll play the video. All right. So now y'all got a little bit of more information about the organization and what we do. And so I want to invite our esteemed panelists to come and take their seats. And so we have the phenomenal Michael Brown Sr. We have the amazing Cal D. Brown. And we're so pleased to be joined by our comrade, a chosen father, just an absolute powerhouse in the struggle for justice, Andrew Joseph II. Testing. Okay. How y'all feeling? Y'all feeling grounded? Yeah? Okay.
I'm struggling.
It's understood. Yeah, I'll receive and affirm that. And I'm glad you shared that with the room so we can all create a nice, soft place for all those up here. And we can create a nice and soft place for each other, okay? Yeah, I think we should begin with you all saying more about who you are and how you come here today.
Okay. So my name is Michael Brown Sr. I'm the father of Michael Brown Jr. We're here to talk about grief, right? This is something that grieving families are dealing with on a daily. It doesn't get any easier, but that's our struggle every day. I don't want to take up too much time, but that's the struggle for me right now. I speak on me. So, yeah.
Peace and blessings. My name is Cal D. Brown. I am the co-founder and executive director of the Michael Brown Sr. Chosen for Change organization, where we provide care and support to fathers and families who are processing the unthinkable. More than 57% of the St. Louis area is affected by grief, loss, and trauma, which is a direct correlation to mental health. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. My name is Andrew Joseph Jr., and for every Michael Brown, who's everybody's familiar with, there's 100, maybe 1,000 Andrew Josephs. Maybe stories that you never heard and words that you never experienced, but grief affects everybody at some point. And, you know, this is a different kind of grief that we're dealing with because this is state-created grief. You know, this is not a grief that was expected. You know, a grandparent that has lived a full life and somebody that was really sickly that, you know, that you kind of got prepared for. This was like you wake up tomorrow and your whole life changes. A brick wall falls on you tonight. You know, and it usually happens after midnight for whatever reason. But that brick wall falls on you, and it's almost like you die that night as well. And you have to learn, like a child, to get out of the bed and take a bath and just to give a goddamn anymore, because, you know, half of your soul goes with their loved one. And I remind you, this is a state-created grief. So we're here to to dive in deep and, really address the elephants that's been ignored for centuries. But, we got to get a little loose because we're going to have a good time. And, this is our house. This is the people house. Can you agree with that? So, whose house?
Our house.
Yeah. But when you say it, you gotta, you gotta really mean it. So you gotta dig down deep in your esophagus and come up through your throat area and project across the room and really let them know. You know what I'm saying? When they ask you, whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. Who's got the power? We got the power. Who's got the power? We got the power. Who's got the power? We got the power. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. And then just to power up, and you're just gonna put that right hand all the way in the sky, and you're not gonna fool around with it. So you gotta have those, see right there, you gotta have those elbows locked. This gotta be locked, and that's power up, and then they're gonna say break down, then you bring it down, and from bottom of your gut you just go, whoo. Let's try it. Power up, break down. Now we all got it. We're gonna put it together, and we're gonna carry on. Y'all ready? Not yet. I know you ready. All right, y'all ready? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Who's got the power? We got the power. Who's got the power? We got the power. Who's got the power? We got the power. Show the summit what the power look like. Power up, break down. Ooh. Power up, break down. Ooh. Power up, 2 times, break down. Ooh. All right, I think we're ready now.
Appreciate you, Drew. All right, see, I got us grounded, and then Drew got us charged up. Yeah, duality. We need both. Word. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for sharing a little bit more about y'all's loved ones and about how you're arriving here today. I think I want to start with just a general question about why we're gathered. So myths about grief. And I really appreciate what you were saying, Drew, distinguishing this kind of grief as a state-created grief. And so all of us have been impacted and experienced griefs in various forms, but maybe not all folks have experienced a state-created grief. So I'm wondering if you all could talk about some of the myths associated with state-created grief in particular.
Well, first of all, you got to understand that most types of grief is different stages of grief. There's different stages of grief, and that first stage of grief, in most cases, is disbelief. This can't be happening. This must be a dream. All kind of questions. Why me? You questioning the Lord. You questioning your religion. You questioning society. You questioning yourself. I mean, from a male perspective, we are supposed to be the provider and the protectors. And now you have a dead loved one that you felt was unprotected. So it's a lot of grief. You feel like a failure as a person. And a lot of things that's not discussed is, and this is stage 1 of grief. This is stage 1 of grief. Most of the people that's gonna sit on these type of panels has contemplating suicide and just giving up on life, because most times it's our child, and we all living for our child, for the most part. And now that child is gone, and that will is gone to live. You have to really learn how to get out the bed and take a bath, and not talking about going on somebody's job. You see, because ultimately, this is a mental disability. We all, and that's not where we're at, but we all understand You really want to do somebody some real physical harm because your child is gone. And you really at a mental breakdown in stage 1. You to your limit. Can't take no more. And you go from putting a pistol in your mouth to want to put the pistol in everybody's mouth. You're not yourself. You're out your body. Stage 1. It's all my fault to begin with. Then your mind tell you it's all somebody else's fault. If the city would have did this, if the mayor would have did that, if the police officer didn't have a union, and then you wake up with all kind of microphones in your face, questioning you and your standards. You see, because it don't matter what the situation is, and a lot of us probably don't understand it, so I'm explaining it real quick right now. The first statement from a police officer is always a lie. I'm going to tell you to you again, because I think I lost some of you. The first statement that we get as the community, as the public, from each and every one of these officers in each and every one of these cases across the country is always a lie. It's always an untruth. All the way back from when the civil rights began with Emmett Till. And if I lost some of y'all, Emmett Till was a little 1955, way back in the gap, 14-year-old young black man coming from Chicago, coming down to Mississippi to visit for the summer, and supposedly whistled at a white woman. And they lynched him. When that white woman was laying on her deathbed, she said, "He didn't whistle at me." When they sat on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes, when they told you what happened to him, he had overdosed on a drug-endorsed heart attack. We as families are not even fighting, stage 1, I'm still there, for human rights anymore. Picture that. Because you couldn't stand on a dog's neck like they did George Floyd for 9 minutes. You couldn't go into a dog's house where a dog was sleeping at and shoot that dog like they did Breonna Taylor. You couldn't do it to a dog. And these families that sit on this panel have to deal with this every 26 hours. An unarmed black male, melanin person is killed by these police officers. And the first statement that they always give in every situation is always a lie. They plain in your face. They laughing at you. But in most of our world, they're still heroes. And they're race soldiers. They're race soldiers. 80% of the people in Ferguson had a ticket. They're race soldiers. They're showing it to you every day. Everybody that we killed deserves to be killed. Because there was an animal. You should look away. You shouldn't get involved. This has nothing to do with you. But we know from experience, what we're dealing with today, it's going to be in your backyard tomorrow. Them drugs you're dealing with now, we dealt with that 20 years ago. They're killing us now. Guess who they're going to be killing next? Guess whose son's going to be dying next? If you don't stand up and do something today. Now, from stage 1, You go through all kind of mental issues, and eventually you get to stage 2. Because in stage 1, you can't talk. You don't have a voice. And finally, you get a voice, and you want to start fighting, but it's been a year now. It's been 2 years. Statute of limitations running out by design. You got to find a lawyer to take these kind of cases. You got to promote yourself. You got to be your own lawyer. You got to be your own security guard. You got to be your own promoter. You was a regular person yesterday. And this is a 2-week society. 2 weeks, they ready. This is 11 years later. 2 weeks, this is another name. 2 weeks is a whole nother situation. So this is a task, you don't want nobody else to file in these shoes. This work has to be done. This work has to be done. This work has to be funded. This Chosen for Change has saved so many lives. So many lives. Took so many pistols out the mouth. Took so many people off the drugs, out of the streets. Focus. And you're able to get therapy in the long run through this work. Because we no longer can parent in the physical. So the only thing that we have left to parent is the legacy. So it has to be a legacy of great work. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. And to wrap up, finally you get to stage 3, where most of us get stuck at. The stage 3 is, you have a platform, so you're able to give back to that young family that's just coming through the system right now. You have that platform, so you're able to give that experience and all the knowledge to those young families. But stage 3 also comes with forgiveness. Because you can't go to, what kind of atheist you are, you can't go to nobody's heaven with the kind of hate that you have in your heart for society after you go through this kind of trauma. I mean, you really hate individuals that have wronged you. And we know, it's not in our nature to hate heavy like that. So we have to have some kind of forgiveness. Now, I know this is going to be a cold day in hell before Michael Brown could hug a police and say, I forgive you. It's going to be a cold day in hell before I can hug the police that killed my 14-year-old child and say, I forgive you. So that's something that, we always working on. Always, because I always think to myself and, help my brothers out with the same knowledge that God, they killed God's son too. He forgave the world. And that's why we're here. And we were sent here not to be gods, but to be godly-like. And he was the example. So, who's got the power? We got the power. Who's got the power? We got the power. Who's got the power?
We got the power.
Power up. Breakdown.
Thank you, Drew. Grief is often misunderstood, with many common myths hindering the healing process. Debunking these myths is crucial for navigating grief in a healthy way. Some common misconceptions include the belief that grief has an end point, that everyone grieves the same, or that time heals all wounds without active coping. Have either of you experienced that? Do you believe grief has an end point?
I think we just learned how to cope, keep it moving. Through my journey of grief, it was almost killing me. For almost 7-8 years, just raw and uncut, I was looking for the person that murdered my son. With that type of pain and not being able to find someone, or a person is hiding after they claim they did the right thing that day on their decision, that really bothered my soul. over the years, my body had changed from all that pain, from that grief. I never wanted ever to a person to ever know that they got 2 wins out of 1. That I done kept myself from being so stressed out from the pain and the hurt and the trauma that I deal with every day. So I had to get myself together. I had to get myself in a place where I was able to forgive myself for those thoughts. It doesn't include him though, but I had to get myself together. My body is different, you know, from all that, the trauma, but just to know that it ain't no turning back from this. This is the reality of what had happened in our life, and we have to learn how to live without our loved one. That could be a hard struggle, especially when your loved one have siblings, especially when they look for them, they still have questions, especially when you still even have your son or your daughter sent in your house. That can always be a trigger. Looking down the street and someone walks from behind like your loved one, that can be a trigger. It's just a whole lot of things that grieving families, they deal with in that process. But coping and moving forward the best way we can, because there's no handbook with this. You know, crazy thing, like Drew say, you know, you got cancer, you go to a cancer place, they can get treatment. You got HIV, you go to HIV place to get treatment. You know, it's no place for grieving families, but what we see right here. In this program, we all built this together as the grieving families. So we actually are our own therapists. You know, so yeah, that's where we at, and that's where I'm at as far as the coping mechanism, as far as with your question, right?
And, you know, we in one of those self-medicated sessions we were having, we define grief as love with nowhere to go. So you have to take the love that you had of your loved one and just, you know, put it into the work. And this is nothing that you get over, like ever. It's just something that you may learn to live with. But this kind of trauma is almost like a blueprint. And if you know, this wakes you up. At this point, we wide awoke. We can see things that we can't see. We are wide awoke. We understand that between Memorial Day and Labor Day is killing season for us. This is when we die. That whole spring, summertime. Instead of once a day, it goes to twice a day. Racism is the biggest problem in the world. Racism is killing us. Racism is killing the planet. Racism is killing the universe. This is nothing new. I don't know how you was taught, but you know, I understand the situation that when whoever they portrayed Jesus to be to you, he was fighting for the Hebrews, which was the poor people of their time. And they were outnumbering the Romans, which was the rich people of their time. And the Romans sent their soldiers of their time to kill the firstborn of all the Hebrews of their time. And they used a tree to hang Jesus on a cross. That was the noose of their time. Instead of hanging him from the tree, they hung him on the cross. And they put the roles on his head and said he was the king of the Hebrews, who was the niggers of their time. He was the king of the niggers. You know, that's I was, understood. So this has been going on since day one. This is Generation Z that we're dealing with. This is supposed to be the last generation that has to deal with it. Time is up. Time is up. And that's what we're doing, is planting seeds for tomorrow. For in 10, 20 years, they won't never have to have another panel like this. They won't have to have fathers burying sons. And, and since day one, we still, each and every one of these families, our children have done nothing wrong. Nothing that can be proven in court to be wrong. We as a people have to cure racism. And we're looking to the next generation because we couldn't do it. None of the generations before us can do it. There's supposed to be a generation that can cure racism. It's all our jobs. It's why we were sent here. We got distracted with the phone bill and the house note. But there's been a war going on for years, and that's why we were sent here, because we're warriors. But we got distracted. We're supposed to be fighting for what's right. We all know racism is wrong. We all should be fighting racism every day. If we cure racism, we're going to cure 80% of the problems that we're going through right now. It's not hard.
Thank you. Some of the myths of grief that need to be debunked are: time heals all wounds, everyone grieves the same, you should grieve alone, crying makes grief worse, grief is a sign of weakness. Because we have two black men on the panel, I want to ask, is grief a sign of weakness?
It's grief a sign of weakness. I would say early on, we probably both believed it. I wouldn't say that now. If you use grief in a way that you need it, you could build a fire. Through my grief, this is the reason why the Michael Brown Senior Chosen for Change organization is alive right now. If you don't bring no fire to this pain, you would drown. So these programs are put together for these other families so they can get some type of healing. So we can tell them that it's okay to cry. So it's okay to be this way. It's okay to be that way. Grown men do cry. It's a sad thing. We was taught that as a young kid, it wasn't good to cry. Broke a lot of these grown men. That's why a lot of these grown men are out here acting like women, because they're not emotional. They haven't been able to show their emotions, so they act out in different ways. It's not cool, So yes, it's okay for grown men to cry. It's okay for grown men to be vulnerable. I say that, vulnerable, because we were taught not to be vulnerable, So with those skills that I have now, I'm able to tell other families that it's okay to do those things. But what I knew as far as for myself, I had no one to tell me that early on. I thought I wasn't supposed to even do that, because our teaching as a young individual was just to take it as a young boy. Even if we fell and scratched our knee, it's always taught to get up. We didn't get no hug for scratching our knee or falling. I don't know too many women, mothers that did that, hug their child after they fell. They told them to get up, suck it up, let's go. So a lot of that starts with the early on emotions. Sometimes we don't even know that we even have those emotions until something traumatic, bigger than that, get activated, and then we have to go back and remind ourselves that we ain't been healed before. So now you got trauma on top of trauma. You know, so that's a whole lot. That's another conversation, I guess. The trauma on top of trauma, right? But just trying to guide these families into the light, because I just had a conversation with a father yesterday. And in that chair, I seen myself at one time. And it was almost scary. It was almost like sitting across from a loaded gun that can talk. I don't know if anybody can imagine that. But this guy was very hurt, and I had to guide him and teach him. Well, not teach him, but give him advice on how to grieve in his own way. Because he asked me how I do it, telling me I'm the strongest guy, and I'm just looking at him like I'm about to break right now. You know? It might look good on the inside, but I am crushed in the inside. You know? But giving these fathers and these mothers some good guidance, and guidance that I think that can help them find their way, because I don't have all the answers. I'm still grieving myself. But just to be a shoulder and an ear for them, you know, I think it's big and powerful, because they look at the strength that our family has. And just being there for them and just trying to guide them in the way they need to be guided. That's it.
Thank y'all. Yeah. I know it's not easy being up here, yeah. Yeah, so I always make it a point to say thank you, because, yeah, it's important for us to hear from y'all so that we can be more aligned in our support and solidarity with y'all, yeah. So thank y'all, I appreciate it. We all do. I want to transition right now to questions from the audience. I know that was a lot we holding, but yeah, we would love to hear from y'all's questions and take them.
Ask us what you want to ask now.
Yeah.
Don't be scared now.
And I can rotate this microphone.
Thank you for this. This is great. I did go through a lot of therapy when I lost my son. And a lot of that not wanting to, I never thought of taking my life, but it can happen even if you're not trying to or thinking about it, especially following, and I found this out through therapy, if the woman has had some type of abdominal kind of surgery, and she then has a situation like losing her son, that because of the hormonal changes, they can drift into a very deep depression, because we didn't know why I couldn't come out of it. I knew I couldn't come out of it because that was my son. I lost my son. But when you said, or maybe it was the gentleman on the end, said you're angry, because talking about it's 4 stages that you go through, the anger stage, I never experienced it. And when I asked deep inside, why isn't it that, well, first of all, there were young men around my son that could have reached out to me. My son had an asthma attack, and they fled because if they call 911, a police is going to come. And my son's there, and instead of saving him, they cowardly ran. So just the wife of one of the guys explained everything to the police, and then they did his autopsy. Then I find out, okay, I'm a respiratory therapist. I already knew how sick my son was, but I didn't know he was puffing on an empty inhaler, and he had chosen to smoke, he had chosen to get high, and he was drinking, and the rest is history with 3 beautiful little children that I was already helping he and his wife. But just to answer, just to say where I wanted to go with this is that my grief was different. And the way it was that when I got a phone call, I'm like, wow, who calls somebody for something like that, you know, if they're home alone? I was really angry about that. And I was angry about that for many years. But you did say men handle things differently. So my husband and stepfather called me when someone called him, because I guess they felt like they couldn't say it to me, a family member. And so a warm feeling went throughout my body. And for the rest of the time, I was there to hold everybody else up. I got the children dressed, you know, went, took them shopping, got clothes for the funeral and all of that. And there are these, this would be a testimony, I'm not going to go into it, but there are these things that happen around you that almost seems like a miracle. And you wonder why. You know, I'll just give you one. I met a lady while I was going to get my granddaughter her a coat, because this was November. It was cold. She needed a dress coat for the funeral. And this lady just pulls in the middle of the street. I mean, in the middle of, like, if this is a shopping little mall thing, and she's driving, she stops. And then she comes over to me, and she hugs me, and she says, he's okay. He's okay. He's good. God's got your baby. I've never talked to this lady ever in my life. I never told this woman that I had just lost my son. She still had her car doors open. This was the weirdest thing that I ever had felt, you know, heard. Well, first the warmth through my body, making me calm. But then days later, here this lady is, and she whispers in my right ear, you know, these words. And she said, you know, she just held me. She just held me, and I cried, and I couldn't believe it. So I know those things can happen because it did. But when you say you get angry, I never felt that, you know, God failed me. I never felt that I was going to, you know, I take that back. I was a little angry at my nephew. He was there, and he didn't come to me. I guess he couldn't face me because he knew how much I loved my son, and I loved him just like he was my son. But we do experience the grief differently. I did go through counseling, found out I had SADS. I never knew that, seasonal affective disorder syndrome. But to close, I just want to say that a lot of people do say, you know, that, I mean, get angry, and then they wonder why did God, or was God, you know, Christian people. I never felt any of that, and I just wanted to share that I kept it within me and helped everybody else. And then I went into, it wasn't like I wasn't accepting it, it was just, then I went into that depression. And it took a lot to get me out of that.
What was your son's name?
Rayfield Birch the third. Birch, the fourth. Mm-hmm.
That's his name?
Rayfield Birch the fourth.
That's his name?
Rayfield Birch the fourth. Rayfield Birch the fourth. Thank you. Thank you.
Before you give someone else the chance to talk, I just want to speak on it. August 15, 2014, a woman met me in a gas station. Said the same thing she said to you, but disappeared.
I've never seen her.
I didn't know her either. She disappeared. Once I looked around, she was gone.
She was gone. Never seen her.
Never seen her again. She spoke in my ear. Yep. Yep. And I would say this too. You said something about the pain. The pain is the same. It's the difference, the way that we lost our children. No, I'm just saying it's the way we lost our children. But the pain, what you feel, I feel. It's the same pain. Ain't nothing different about the pain. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I just wanted to speak to that too. Thank you for sharing. But I wanted to speak to the thought of the other person that is coming to tell you, right? And them listening to the unction of the spirit or their intuition or whatever it is that you want to name it, that we are able to be bold enough to go to someone that we don't know under such a touchy subject as grief or loss, and to say, hey, Spirit is telling me that I see you, that you're being comforted, right? And so there will be times in our lives, even as those who have experienced grief, that we'll be there to do that for other people. And so if you get those feelings, if you get those things, I want us to be able to trust ourselves enough to be that for someone else too, because that is the cycle. You know, grief is not a sequential process. You could be angry today, accepting things tomorrow, and right back at angry again. And so being there for one another as community and listening to the unction of our spirit that guides us and able to say, like, hey, I feel this, I feel you, I see you, helps us all to overcome. So thank you for sharing that.
One thing that stood out to me from the moment you all began sharing was your choice of the language state-inflicted violence as opposed to other terms that have been used to describe these horrific situations. And state-inflicted violence is a part of the history of all components of the United States as a country, and I've been thinking a lot recently about the increase that we are going to see in state-related violence and that we're already seeing in this current presidential administration, both police brutality in like just flagrant racism, but then also like the militarization of immigration policies, and also things that are coming out of the federal government related to like people are gonna die because of loss of Medicaid funding and food stamps funding and utility assistance. And so there's all of these ways that we as a society are gonna be experiencing increased state-inflicted violence unless something changes. And that's probably unnecessary context, but my question is, you've had the unfortunate experience and also in some ways today now the privilege of being on both sides of this, right? Of being able to create this really important and powerful space for families who are going through the same thing you've experienced. And as we are going to increasingly be in community with one another under state-inflicted violence, what advice do you have of how to be present for people and how to show up for them to create spaces of comfort and healing?
Well, I mean, you have to be the difference. You don't want just to be in a cycle where you just doing the same dumb things over and over and over and expecting a different result. You want to be able to break that cycle. You don't want to have to. I mean, just as a constant person, you want to leave a better generation, a better world to the next generation than what you found. I mean, that's like everybody's everyday mission is supposed to be to do more good than bad. I mean, it's not like really difficult, and that's just part of living. You know, more good than bad. It's to do for others and to prevent the things, to learn from your situations and prevent the mishaps from happening again. But, you know, we don't have to deal with that. We really have the power. He don't have to be our president. If the people say we don't want him, we don't want him. We can have another president tomorrow. We have that kind of power. If everybody's had enough, we agreed we had enough, and that's enough. And this all we have to do is stand up and fight back. So we, you know, as a people, we can create the world that we want to see. And, you know, it's written somewhere that, you know, it's supposed to be on earth as it is in heaven. Right now, this is hell, especially for melanin people. This is hell. This is hell. Hot hell. So it has to be a change. And, you know, and I think that we have this kind of president because this is the last straw. He's throwing everything that he has, everything in the playbook, and nothing's sticking, as usual. So, you know, instead of worrying about this world that has to be destroyed, for it to be a brand new world, we should be planting the seeds for tomorrow, like we are now, and preparing these families to, you know, this is the fight of your life. This comes with taking 10 years off of your life automatically. This breaks up homes. This breaks up marriages. This digs in your pocket. This is a mental catastrophe that never goes away. This is a struggle. This is an everyday struggle that never goes away. And all this is state created on purpose. This is what this is for. This is the blueprint.
Everything that's going on, floods, famine, hurricanes, all at the same time. All in Revelation.
This is your time to get. We are on the cross. This is your time to be saved. We are on the cross. This is your time. You know, I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. And what you can see with your eyes, you probably need to believe. If somebody else whispering something in your ear and you can see it with your eyes, you probably need to believe.
Can I ask one more question before? I know we got to wrap up soon. I want to ask one more question, which I think is related or similar to the question that you were asking. For folks who are interested in supporting and helping families impacted by state creative grief, what advice would you give to those people? People who want to show up, who want to support, who want to be in solidarity with families and communities who have been impacted by state-sanctioned grief?
To find a like-minded grassroots organization whose mission you're passionate about. Go to their website to show how to sign up, to support, to volunteer, because most organizations like Chosen for Change and the Andrew Joseph Foundation, we lack funding, we lack people. We put a lot of work into the things that we do, and we need boots on the ground. I could talk about me and Mike and Drew and Deanna. Majority of the things we do with a very small team. So if you have any skills, reach out, send an email, call, show up to the next upcoming event, and let them know that that you want to be a part, because it's very important to create these safe spaces for impacted families. We can give you the tools to maintain your own garden, but the healing begins within.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all being here, being present with us. Thanks for being here and receptive. We really appreciate it. Cool.
All right, let's debrief. Everybody stand up, let's debrief. Stretch, touch the ceilings. And then come on, crack. Wiggle your fingers. All right, here we go. Close your eyes and then come around. Down. Slowly. Clap at the bottom. Top. Breathe low, drop your mouth. Breathe low, drop your mouth, clap at the top. Down. Stop right there, stop. Circle frontwards one time. Circle backwards one time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Turn to the left. Breathe out. Breathe in. Turn to the right. Breathe out. Hands down. Close your eyes and look around. Just got silence. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house.
Yep, www.chosenforchange.org and www.andrewjosephfoundation.org. Thank you.
Testing, testing.